You're about to enter the Reb Zone Sports Show on Fox 5.
Right now in the Reb Zone, we're ready to go. The Rebels try to put up a smokescreen on Fresno State. Tim Cornette hits the high of a UNLV rushing record, then hits bottom with an injury. Plus, we preview the battle for the Fremont Cannon. We're delivering the hard hits in the Reb Zone. Do you want it?
Let's get it, let's get it, let's get it!
This is the Reb Zone Sports Show, only on Fox 5.
Good evening, welcome inside the Reb Zone as we break down last night's loss to Fresno State and we look ahead to next week's in-state showdown with Nevada. Kevin Bollinger alongside UNLV head football coach Bobby Houck, and really a frustrating night last night for you guys.
Well, it was. You know, our guys were really down after the game, certainly because we know we're getting to the point where we're capable of actually going in and winning a game like that on the road against a highly ranked team, and you know, we knew we'd have to play well to go in there and get the win, and we just didn't. We didn't play well enough, and you know, we've got the fight and all those things we need to have, but we need to play better. And you know, Fresno's a good team. They made some plays, and we didn't, and we knew it was going to be that kind of game going in.
Let's look at this a little more closely. And things did not go well for the Rebels against the Bulldogs from the very first snap as they had to play catch-up from the beginning.
Let's go, shot the well, boys. Let's go. Baby, win on me. Win on three. 1, 2, 3. Win.
Let's get it, let's get it, let's get it!
Nothing need to be said. We know what to do.
Don't believe the hype. Let's go rock this thing. Win on 3. 1, 2, 3. Win. Let's go.
The Rebels were fired up, ready to take on the conference favorite and see how they stacked up. But on the first play from scrimmage, Derek Carr played buzzkill. The perfectly thrown ball to Devontae Adams. 75 yards for the touchdown, and it was 7-0 Bulldogs 9 seconds into the game. UNLV's offense had a rough time getting momentum. Back-to-back sacks killed the first drive, and Carr went back to work, finding Adams for a 28-yard strike to make it 14-0. After another Bulldog touchdown, the Rebels got on the board early in the second quarter, courtesy of Shaq Murray-Lawrence. 73 yards sprinting into the end zone, 21-7. Carr, though, could not be stopped, hitting Adams again, and the missed tackle leads to a Bulldog touchdown. 4 possessions, 4 scores, and the Rebels were down 28-7. Just before the half, the offense got moving for UNLV. Caleb Herring finds Marcus Sullivan for the 17-yard score, and the Rebels had a spark, but they were heading into halftime trailing 28-14.
Hey, our half, don't believe the hype.
UNLV had the ball to start the second half and started on Fresno's 45-yard line, but went 3 and out. Carr then drove the Bulldogs 86 yards in 11 plays, and for the 4th time teamed up with Adams for a score. It was 35-14. One bright spot for the Rebels, senior Tim Cornette becomes UNLV's all-time leading rusher. But just a few plays later on 4th down, this pass to Cornette loses 7 yards, but more importantly, Cornette is injured on the play, not being able to put any pressure on his right leg. Fresno State racks up 641 yards in total offense, 435 in the air. UNLV gets shut out in the second half as the Rebels fall 38-14, and Cornette has to be carted off the field after the game.
The Cornette injury, I know that he probably hasn't gone through the entire process of it, but what do we know about it at this point?
Not much. He's home watching games today, so we'll see tomorrow and see how it is.
Does the medical procedure that he goes through, does he go through the medical team first? What kind of tests do they do on his knee?
He goes and sees the doctors and the trainers and gets treatment and sees if he can go.
Okay, and you had not just Cornette, but you had a lot of other injuries throughout the game, just minor ones, but it seems like a lot of players going down needing help off the field. How healthy are the Rebels here as you go into the week to prepare for Nevada?
Well, it's a hard question to answer on Sunday because we've got a full week to get ready to play the game. But we're a little banged up. We've played over half our season, and that's, you know, it's physical out there, and so sometimes you get a little banged up, and we're going to have to fight through that.
Now, before the Cornette injury, just a few plays before that, actually, he broke UNLV's all-time rushing record that was held by Mike Thomas. And I know records maybe aren't the biggest thing except for wins and losses, but it is nice to see somebody who's come in and produced in 4 years at UNLV get that record.
Yeah, that's, you know, and it's really about winning and losing, because you saying that or me hearing it on the dealer's the first time that even has been brought up. We don't really care about that stuff, but obviously good for Tim, and we wish he'd come in and win.
The one thing that obviously was evident was not slowing down Fresno State's offense. They racked up a lot of yards. What was it that they were doing? I mean, obviously they put yards up every week, but were they doing anything differently offensively that opened things up?
No, they just did what they do. They get yards, they score points on everybody they play, and the kid we're looking at here, Carr at quarterback, is a great player. He's thrown for over 12,000 yards, and you know, the first play of the game, which we're recapping here again, you know, we should have had a sack on it. We're in off coverage. We just got to make that play. I mean, there's no way to get beat deep. They held on to the ball, which they don't do very much. We had a chance to get there, missed him on the rush, and you know, we got to make more plays in the back end when we're playing a team like this. And in the front end, for that matter. That
first play of the game, they got a little pressure on him. The last play of the first half, they got pressure on him, but there was not consistent pressure on Carr, and you thought that would be one of the keys to the game.
Well, you have to do it with 3 or 4 because he doesn't hold on the ball. And this play we're looking at right here is, you know, we got to keep our edge. We had twice where we flushed him, we didn't keep our edge, and you know, that's just failure by us up front on defense. When we have a chance to sack him, get some hits on him, we didn't do it.
How key was the first drive of the second half? You pull within 14. You go into the locker room with a little momentum. You get the ball back. They kind of a pooch kick it. You get great field position, but then go 3 and out.
Yeah, we came out of the locker room, kind of assumed that we were going to get on the kickoff return. We creased them, returned it out across the 50-yard line, had great field position, and then went 3 and out. And you know, we needed, you know, you don't have to get points on that drive, but it's going to be productive to do that. And then you couple it with the fact that we start the half in their territory with our freshman Keith Whiteley getting a nice return with some help from his friends. You know, that was too bad, because if we cut it to 7 there, you know, all of a sudden the pressure increased. The pressure's on them at that point rather than on us to play catch up.
In terms of a gauge game, which is what a lot of the media was calling this, to kind of see where UNLV stacks up against better competition, what do you take away from this in terms of where UNLV has come from 2 to 3 years ago to where they are now?
Well, yeah, that's kind of a hard question for me to answer a little bit, because I consider everybody we play to be good competition. You know, I mean, if they're on our schedule, they're capable of beating us and capable of beating a lot of people. But you know, playing the 17th ranked team in the country on the road, and you know, for us, it was certainly not out of the realm of possibilities for us to go in there and win that game. We didn't play well enough to do that, but in the past, you know, that's one of those things where we're not. In the past, we were not able to go in there and just have a realistic shot at winning that, and that wasn't the case last night.
Well, after the game, it was obviously a somber mood as the players processed what went wrong, but thoughts were already turning towards next week's rivalry game with UNR.
There's a reason that they're ranked where they are right now. They're a good team, and yeah, they played really good against us. They showed us some things, like I said, that we hadn't seen. They played fast and really just got after us. But you know, we got to go back to the drawing board and get ready to let it roll off of us like water off a duck's back, and just, you know, come back and get ready for Reno.
We got to put this one away, and we're on to Reno. No, that's our rival, and we're going to start from right now.
So the players seem to be able to kind of slough this off, which you don't want them to slough it off too quickly. You want them to feel the sting, but it seems like the focus on the plane, especially on the way back, was already turned towards the next one.
Well, that's by design. We've got our biggest game on our schedule this week, and we can't be, you know, just sulking along after a loss like that. We, you know, we didn't play well enough. Got beat by a conference opponent. Takes us out of first place in the West Division. Puts us in a tie for second place, and we need to get going and get a win this weekend at Reno.
Well, during the first quarter of the game last night, Fresno State did honor Jerry Tarkanian on his induction into the Basketball Hall of Fame. Tark on hand to wave to the crowd as he has a history at both schools. We all know what he did with the Runnin' Rebels, but Coach also graduated from Fresno State and went on to coach the Bulldogs after he left UNLV. Tark did receive a standing ovation from the crowd, and that trademark smile, of course, he had on the entire night. Well, as we say, on to the next one, and what a big one the next one is. Up next in the Reb Zone, we are going to start breaking down this Saturday's battle for the Fremont Cannon. What is it going to take to get the Cannon red for the first time since 2004? Coach Houck giving you the insight in just 2 minutes.
You're watching the Reb Zone Sports Show on Fox 5.
Well, it doesn't get any bigger than this, the game for the Fremont Cannon, but that cannon has not been red in a long time. And in order for UNLV to return to Las Vegas with the state's most prized sports possession, they're going to have to stop Nevada's high-powered offense.
It's the heaviest and most expensive trophy in college football. And for the last 8 years, it's resided up north. The Fremont Cannon is up for grabs in Reno this Saturday, but the Wolfpack and new coach Brian Polian say they're going to fight to keep it right where it is.
It's at the end of the hallway, and we're going to, just like Bobby wants to bring it back here, we want to keep it blue, and we want to keep it down at the end of our hallway. But we make sure our players understand the significance of it and what it means.
Last year, UNLV lost a 21-point lead, but this Rebels team is much deeper and better at maintaining momentum. The key to the game might be how well the Rebel defense contains Nevada's pistol offense. Chris Alt might be gone, but his blueprint remains.
It's been a very, very productive offense. Why would we go away from it? Not only are we personneled for it, not only do our players know it, but frankly, it separates us from our competition in terms of recruiting.
Wolfpack quarterback Cody Fajardo wants a piece of that rivalry. He was injured last year and pulled after 2 minutes in 2011. Fajardo says the game was already important enough, but now that it's also a conference battle, things are ramped up.
It definitely adds something to it that they're in the conference because everyone wants to be a Mountain West champion, right? And a non-conference game, it's great, rivalry trophy and all that, but now if you add a conference game on top of that, it just adds that much more to the atmosphere.
It'll be a sellout crowd in Mackey Stadium, which is never a friendly environment, but the Rebel offense will have a chance to quiet that UNR crowd, which has been frustrated with a Wolfpack defense that statistically ranks among the worst in the nation. Nevada opponents' drives that begin in their own territory reach the Nevada 30 more than 60% of the time. Touchdown! There's a reason they call this a battle. It's intense, hostile, and nasty. Getting bragging rights back is the next thing for UNLV to check off the bucket list this year. One thing we do know, blue paint is easily covered by red.
There's really no exaggerating the importance of this rivalry, not just for the players and the coaches, but for the people who live here in this state.
Yeah, it's a big thing in these parts, and I've, my familiarity with it was from a distance into the last couple of years, and this is the fourth one. And, the disparity between the teams when I first got immersed in this thing was pretty vast. And I think we've closed the gap. That was evidenced a year ago where we didn't hang on in a game we felt like we played probably well enough to win most of the time, and they did a nice job coming back and getting it. And certainly we're excited about going up there and having a chance to try to win this thing.
You had 21-point leads twice last year, and this team's mindset, though, seems to be different in terms of getting that lead. It didn't happen maybe necessarily in the Hawaii game, but it seems like, kind of the old step on their throat and try and hold them down.
Well, yeah, we've got a more mature team. We've actually got a few veteran players and guys that have been there and seen some things before. We've finally have some guys that have played in this rivalry game before, and we're excited about the chance to go do it. Now they're gonna do their utmost to try to keep the cannon, and we're gonna try to do our best to get it back here, and should be a heck of a game.
What are the keys to stopping the pistol offense? Because it's not easy, and we're seeing not only college teams struggle with it, but now that it's moved on to the NFL, some NFL teams struggling with it as well.
It's option football. You got to play your assignment. You got to tackle well in space because it's an open space game where the ball gets on the offensive player gets on defenders in a pretty good sized space, and then you got to catch up the quarterback. And in the case of our buddies in Reno, they've got a quarterback that can run a little bit, and we've got to try to keep up to him.
Now, Fajardo, who you just mentioned last night against Boise State, they played well in the first half, but when they had to start playing catch-up and start throwing the ball more, he ended up being sacked 6 times in that game, 4 times in the second half. Is that the key to get that early lead and be able to try and force them out of their offense?
Well, it doesn't hurt. Anytime you get kind of an option-based team having to drop back, it's not what they do best. And they don't do it best because they don't do it most, and they don't work on it as much as their base stuff. But he is capable of throwing the ball. He's accurate, and you go back to Colin Kaepernick, who we became familiar with, and all the success that he has had in the NFL. These guys are good players. It's not just a system. They've got good players.
Now, their defense has struggled a little bit in terms of statistics. According to the writers up there in Reno, they've missed a lot of tackles and missed some assignments. How important is it to have the balanced offensive attack that you guys want in terms of running and passing to try and keep them off kilter a little bit?
Well, obviously I think that if we have a balanced offense, we have a chance of being harder to stop. But these rivalry games, the defenses are going to be fired up. The offensive lines and the receivers blocking in the run game and all that stuff, they better be fired up too, because the defense are going to play at a different level this weekend.
And we're doing something a little different this year. The two schools have gotten together, and we're going to do a little symbolic thing with the players on the field.
Yeah, it's kind of I think it's a cool deal being associated with the UCLA and USC rivalry game. Both teams are going to wear their home jerseys. It's an in-state game. It's a home game for everybody, and because it's in our state, so both teams are going to wear their home jerseys. I think it'll look good on TV as well as be kind of a cool deal.
So Rebel Red for UNLV in Reno. That's being announced for the first time here on the Reb Zone tonight. So we're looking forward to that. And we're going to talk a little bit more about this later in the show. Next week, though, not only marks the annual Cannon game against UNR, but it also triggers talk of the Governor's Series presented by NV Energy. That's a head-to-head competition between the two schools for athletics and academic performance. The Rebels have already knocked off Nevada in volleyball earlier this year to strike the first blow, but the football game is worth 3 points. Last year, UNLV won the inaugural series, and they take it very seriously.
I think anytime UNLV plays UNR, it brings a sense of competition out and a rivalry that's really good and healthy for the state of Nevada.
All right, straight ahead in the Red Zone, we're going to talk a little Running Rebels hoops. We have a look back at the Scarlet and Gray Showcase, plus hear what the team has to say about chemistry with so many new faces.
You're watching the Reb Zone Sports Show on Fox 5.
On Thursday, the Running Rebels stepped out in front of the home crowd for the first time this season in the Scarlet and Gray Showcase. About 5,000 people on hand for their first look at the team, which has a lot of new faces. Chemistry going to be the key to success, but one thing we do know, Dave Rice's squad will be loaded with athletes.
We like our group, and again, we got a long way to go in terms of our execution, but we're a group that's going to play hard and we're going to play together, and we want that to be what our program is about. We want to play Running Rebel basketball.
We've built a strong bond together. We have great team chemistry. Everybody can play with everybody, so it's real exciting.
Well, it wasn't just a party for the Running Rebels. The Lady Rebels were also introduced. Head coach Kathy Olivier says she has a squad that's ready to make some noise in the Mountain West.
We have experience. We have 4 seniors. Mia Bell's back. She's a floor general. The post players look great. We have quickness. So we have good size. We have good quickness. And again, deep in every position, which the power of the bench is going to make us play a lot harder.
Both the men's and women's basketball teams will tip off for real in November. We're taking one final break, and then we're going to have some final thoughts from Coach Houck and, of course, the Rebel Plays of the Week. But first, Here's how other teams in the Mountain West did this week.
You're watching the Reb Zone Sports Show on Fox 5.
So it's Reno week, going up to Northern Nevada. Not an easy place to play in Mackey Stadium, but this is a team that seems poised to finally end the 8-year drought.
Well, let's hope so. You know, we're going to go do our best. Obviously, it's a good place. It's a great environment for a game. It'll be a lot of fun. We talked about there's something special about rivalry games. We're blessed to have one. One of the great things I think in all of sports is the college football rivalry game. We got a great one, and we'll be excited to go up there and play.
I know the fans like to see shootouts, and looking at this on paper, this might be another back and forth like we saw last year in Las Vegas.
Well, it's been long enough since the Rebels have won this one. I think our folks would take it if we won 2-0. So we'll see how it goes. Our defense needs to come to play, and so does our offense, and we need to put together a great team effort and see if we can get a win.
All right, we're looking forward to it. Thank you, Coach. And that is a wrap for the Reb Zone. Next Sunday, a complete breakdown of the battle for the Fremont Cannon. And, of course, we're going to be looking ahead to the next one as well. But right now, all eyes on Reno. We leave you with the Rebel Plays of the Week. The Cannon goes red on Saturday. Good night.
Let's go. Win on me. Win on 3. 1, 2, 3. Win.